Welcome, everyone. Hey! Do we have someone?
Testing.
No,
Testing.
this is all the Dino Charger
Thank
people
you.
in the house. Yeah.
Tis panel time.
Is 4 not enough for you? I know there's 10 of us, technically. Oh, it's fine. I don't know. Do we have a moderator, or are we just talking? Oh, hey!
Sweet. Hello.
Perfect.
Why am I looking over here like this is a watch?
Time for us or something.
Zio.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Morphicon 2022. What's up? Woo! Well, my name is Brendan Demone. I am representing No Pink Spandex, but also I am representing Tribunal of the Grid as well. And today we are going to be interviewing, having a having a panel with the Dino Charge cast.
Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right, so to my left, this is we have Brendan Maher, who played the Red Ranger. Beside him is the lovely Claire
Black welder.
Blackwater?
Black welder.
Black welder. I knew it. And she played the Purple Ranger.
Yes.
Next, we have Camille Hyde, who played the Pink Ranger. And after that, we have Dobby Santos, who played the Gold Ranger. And lastly, we have Campbell Cooley, who played Snide.
And I was also the mecha voice charger. T-Rex Charger, engage!
We never actually met. Nice to meet you.
None of these people know who I am because I was always in a recording booth.
All right, so let's get this party started. So tell us a little bit about like your process and what you were doing before you actually came on Dino Charge. Anybody can start, you know.
Anyway. You, Mr. Campbell.
Oh no! I mean, I was living in New Zealand already, and I'd been doing a lot of voice work for Power Rangers up until that point, and they just brought me into audition for Snide, and I'd never seen anything that horrifying looking before, so I just pushed my voice as hard as I could, and this psychopathic voice came out, and so I ended up doing Snide, and then they asked me to do the mecha voice, so I was just I was all over the place. I love doing the voice of Snide, but it was very hard on my throat. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I have your toy at my house.
Oh, brilliant!
Oh, sure. Hi. The process during? I mean, there was like two good questions in that one question.
Well, it was like two, but
Okay.
like, what was your process like while coming on to Power Rangers? But what were you
Sure.
doing before Power Rangers?
Okay. So pre-Power Rangers, it was 2015. I think it was just like a lot of sitcom in LA, which was fun. But then like Sir Ivan, I thought was like really, I was already kind of doing the voice all the time with my friends.
Yeah.
You know? See? Yeah.
At the audition, we were like,
hmm Yeah. So then, like, when they said, like, "Oh yeah, we want someone with like Shakespearean English," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, that sounds like the voice I do." And voila. So before Sir Ivan, there was Sir Ivan, is what I'm telling you.
my process before Power Rangers was I had none. I was a college student, and we don't need to talk about that process. So then, it was my junior year when the audition for Power Rangers came through, and I drove up from Orange County where I was going to school. And after the second audition, I called my mom, and I remember it so well, there was a pita place downstairs from where we auditioned, and I was getting pita wrap of some sort. And I called my mom, and I was like, I think they like me. Like, I might have to go to New Zealand. And my mom was like, all right, well, you still have to finish school. And I was like, it's just 9 months. Like, I'll finish afterwards. And then, the next audition was, when I met all these guys, and then a few months later, we were all in New Zealand.
You remember in the audition room, you're like, were you in Hawaii like 5 years ago?
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
She's like, I think I saw you running on the beach. Like literally, like that's how we met. Because she saw me.
No, we didn't meet because I never approached
No,
you.
I mean when you came to me at the audition.
Oh,
That was
okay.
like your starting sentence to me.
Okay.
Was like,
Yeah.
were you in Hawaii several years
Well,
ago?
I saw, the world and synchronicities and such when I was, at the time I was in 8th grade. And it was 8th or 9th, and I remember there was this boy that would like run
With
on the beach
long
early.
hair.
Yeah, he had long hair. Like,
Not
running on the
anymore. No,
beach.
short.
And me being a child, I would like take pictures of him from behind trees. That whole vacation, I was like, oh my god, it's him again. Oh my god. Thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome. I wasn't gonna go in depth about it. I was just bringing up the Hawaii part.
Well,
You decided to share all the
Well,
details.
now you
That was
brought
your
it
fault.
up, so anyway, continue.
It was destiny.
I know, right? It's so crazy. World is small. Claire.
I was also a college student prior to Power Rangers. I was also a junior. And similar to Camille, I called my mom during the audition process. However, my words were not, I think they like me, I'm going to New Zealand. My words were, oh my God, I can't do this. I've never done this before. I don't look like a superhero. And they said that I have to look like a superhero. What am I going to do? In full tears. And she was like, Claire, you're not gonna get the job anyway, so just she did, but she meant it as a good thing. She was like, you can't expect to get the job, so just go in there and have a good time. And I was like, that's a good point. So they've all heard this story a million times, but I walked into the room having never used a headshot and resume before. It was stapled in one corner. It was like a 4x6. If you know anything about headshots, they're not supposed to be 4x6. They're supposed to be much larger than that. And handed over 2 copies to the guy who asked for it. He said, I only need 1. I said, hang it on your wall. I did, yes. And proceeded to act like an absolute fool in the room. They said, can we see some kicks? And I said, any old kicks? And they said, I'm sorry, are you 76 or are you 20? I'm not sure. Much to my surprise, they called me in for a callback. And I said, you're sure? They said, Claire Blackwelder. You're positive. And I got the callback and ended up getting the job and was very surprised. Had to finish school online while I was filming. So Camille and I would often talk about the essays we had to write when we were on set. I did, yeah. I edited a lot of Camille's essays, yeah. So yeah, it was that was the process, I suppose.
I was working at the San Diego Zoo before Power Rangers, 7 days a week, dressed in a koala suit, doing acrobatics as a summer job. And I was just about to quit acting to go back to school for kinesiology. And then a friend of mine from an acting class that I hadn't seen in 3 years was like, hey, I'm auditioning for something, and next door they're auditioning Power Rangers, and I remember you're like a circus guy. So I went and talked to them, and they said they want to see you. And I was like, well, I auditioned for Power Ranger Samurai, and they didn't hire me. So I was like, whatever, like, I don't care, but fine, I'll go. But ended up they liked me more the second time, I guess. And they didn't ask me to do kicks in the audition. I just did handstands. I know, I just did handstands. I was like, okay, I don't know, circus stuff. But yeah, and then, I don't know, they lied to all of us for the final audition, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was literally us in that room for the final audition.
No, I mean like when we came back for like, when they were, you didn't do that? You did, because
I was in
What,
a
like,
different country.
when they're like, hey, we need one more audition, and then,
Yeah, we're like, hold read. What?
yeah,
What?
yeah,
No, I was away.
yeah, you didn't do, okay.
Yeah.
You and I were the only ones that didn't do it because
Yes.
I was in a different country.
Yes.
And
And I was in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just like got a call and
Exactly.
lost my
Some
mind.
of
You
us
guys
they
are-
lied to, and they're like, hey, we need to see you one more time, even though we told you you did all your auditions.
Which is crazy because that'd be like the 7th time.
Yeah, and
the
I was
7th
mad,
audition.
because like, I was working 7 days a week at the zoo, and so I had to drive from San Diego to LA that morning to do this final audition and then drive back to perform. I know, Chip didn't care. And then like you go in the room and like Camille was saying, they're like, so you got to do a cold read. Like, here's your script. I was like, oh, can I walk out of the room and like look over it? They're like, no, you got to do it right now. I was like, literally like the first time I read it, they're like, yeah. I was like, this is gonna suck. So I started reading it. I'm like trying to like act it as like I'm reading it, comprehending. Right? Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, so open this magical box to reveal your destiny. And like literally they handed me a box like while I'm trying to hold the script. And then they did it to all of us. So we opened it. And then like for me, it was like, congratulations, Brennan, you're the Red Power Rangers, like this laminated picture. There's like a video of us on YouTube somewhere, our
we
reactions.
all, like,
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, what?
Chip Lynn kept that from us. He literally never let us have it.
I know.
He
Yeah.
was like, he kept it in his little file.
Well, he made us
secret
all
file.
watch it.
He made us watch it, but he never sent it to us.
Do you
And
remember-
all of us were like, can you please send it to us? He was like, no.
Yeah, and Chip is amazing, but he's also like very devious because he was like, okay, guys, there's gonna be a competition. You're all gonna make scrapbooks, and whoever makes the best scrapbook at the end of the year wins a prize.
I made a
And
really
so,
good
like,
scrapbook.
We're like legit like scrapbooking, wondering like do we get like a prop or something. At the end, he's like, your prize is all the memories in your scrapbook. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
I still
I do
my
have it.
scrapbook.
Yes, it's a nice scrapbook. My wife made it. I
I was
didn't
doing
do
it for the prize.
Sorry, questions?
No, it's fine. Like, I'm totally with it. Like, talk away.
Not that you asked to know any of that.
So when you got to New Zealand and everything, and I know, of course, you had to like be on set and stuff like that. What was it like trying on the suit for like the very first time?
There were so many layers.
There's a white.
Like an
There's
onion.
a white thing, and then like the strap thing, and then the blue thing, and then the shoulder thing, and then the white. Yeah, it was just like.
We had the skirt too, so extra layer. Yeah. The belt, the shoulder thing, the gloves, the boots, the
Badge thing.
yeah.
And I was like, "You want us to fight in this?"
Yeah.
No. And they had us like layer like the full white one and the black one under, and then the actual color that we were. So
But it was
we had,
very
like, three
empowering.
layers.
Though. It was very cool.
That sounds extremely hot.
It was very hot. Mostly, but it was very cool. It was very cool. I mean, I know like
Non-temperature way.
yeah, yeah, non-temperature way. But I mean, these guys got to try it on like pretty much as soon as they arrived. I tried it on like months afterwards because I didn't have any reason to wear it until season 2. So personally, anyway, trying it on for the first time, I had two conflicting thoughts. First, I was like, "This is so cool! Oh my god, finally!" And then second, I was like, "How did you guys do this?"
Yeah, I don't know. They gave me well at Morphicon when we were announced, and we were like in the back room. Chip brought his friend in to literally give me a haircut backstage because my hair was too long.
Oh wow.
So when I was announced, my hair was long. That was right after a haircut where it was even longer, and then they cut it more for the show. But yeah, so Chip's like, "Yeah, we just want to clean it up a bit." It's like, "Does it matter like this second?" He's like, "Yes." So like, okay, don't fire me.
Not on my watch.
Pardon? Thanks, I appreciate it.
So tell the people, like, what was your first day like on set, if you remember? If you remember.
I remember we were not at the studio on the first day of filming. We were on location somewhere where we had to like run and stop and look at something.
Yeah.
And I remember in the beginning, because we were all so green, I remember, Chip would say, if you can't see the camera can't see you. So because so many of us had to be in frame at the same time, I could feel everyone trying to get their window. And it was so staccato, like very robotic. And I was just like, geez, like this is crazy. Like this is gonna be like this the whole time. But we were all just very green and very nervous, and I think we all relied on each other to stay like grounded, to feel like comfortable. For me, it was always like Yoshi just made everyone like, he was just like, yeah, like, well, he knew everything about Power Rangers first.
Yeah, he was like the big brother watching like
Yeah.
all the Super Sentai. Like I'm a Power Ranger fan too, but like I watched Power Rangers, not Super Sentai as well, and he watched everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
So, even with like the stances and the moves, and it was kind of in his blood. So I feel like,
Literally, because his brother's a Power Ranger too.
yeah, that's true. So I feel like, in times where some of us were like, what is going on? Like Yoshi would be like, yeah, everything's chill. I never saw him sweat ever. Not once.
Mr. Campbell, were you ever on set with us, or you were always in the recording booth?
No, I actually was in one episode of the Royal Rangers, and I got to be a paparazzi.
Oh, when we were the Prince and
Exactly.
Princess Andar thing.
Exactly. And the irony is, I was just looking through some of my stuff earlier that I brought to the con, and I found the actual flyer that I was using in that scene.
That's awesome.
So if anybody out there has a lot of money and wants to buy it,
$500 starting bid.
sounds good. I guess.
You want to take
So my first day on the set, sorry, not set, but like in a recording booth. Building on what I said earlier, they had brought me in to audition, and when I saw what Snide looked like, it was just like he just looked like a psychopath. And I thought, what am I going to do for this? So I just pushed my voice harder than I'd ever pushed it, and then the voice came out. And about 2 weeks later, I got a call from my agent, and she said they want to cast you in the role of Doomwing, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, all right, that's fine. So we signed the contract, and then about a few weeks later, I got a call, and she says, like, they've changed their mind. No, they want you to play Snide. And I was like, what's going on here? Well, the story that got back to me was they'd kind of cast this thing backwards, where they were casting all the smaller roles first, and then they left Snide for last. So they had cast, all these characters, and then they were trying to find Snide, and they couldn't find anyone to do Snide. And they brought all these people in, and they weren't happy with what they found. So somebody said, let's go back and listen to our original auditions. And they said that they heard my audition. They said, that's Snide. So my agent said, rip up your contract. We're starting all over again. So, but the thing is, when I auditioned for Snide, again, I pushed my voice super duper hard. And when my agent called me and she said, you're going to be playing Snide, I was like, how am I going to sustain that voice for an entire season? Because it is so hard on my throat. And I remember going into the recording booth the first time to record, and I think like I was tasting blood at the end of the session.
Commitment.
Wow.
So yeah, that was my first day.
Lots of tea and honey, I'm sure.
Question to the audience.
So let's talk about, you went through the entire season and everything. What was it like on your final day? Like, was it bittersweet? Were you like, just, I'm ready to go? Like, what was it? Or what was it giving? What was it like?
Well, Claire and I were going to Thailand after, so I think that's what we were more so thinking about on the last day. That was anticlimactic.
The end.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ended up going to Thailand together for a little trip afterwards. We were like, we're never gonna be on, or who knows when we'll be on this side of the world. Yeah, so we had this like wild 10-day trip. We got in a motorbike accident. Still have scars. Yeah. Accumulate really spicy food.
And my nose
and was
literally ran
horizontal
every
for
time.
like
And every time the lady would be like,
She was like,
doing chili. And I was like, yes. And they put like 2 drops. They're like, no, more. She's like, it's spicy. I was like, I know. And every time I just like, I looked
she
like
would
I
suffer.
was suffering while I was eating. But it was good. It's great.
Yeah. But the last day still, we were very excited about that. But it was weird. I remember they started taking down the set pretty much right away.
Yeah, like
so
they don't wait around.
Yeah, they have more. You guys know they churn that stuff out. So they're like, we got to prepare for the next season. So
Bittersweet. They're like, as we're finishing, like, all right, we're already planning your replacements. We're like,
yeah. I mean, it's bittersweet, but it's also like, so none of this mattered to you?
Oh, baby.
Exactly. But I remember like sitting in the middle of the ranger base as like, literally as things are like coming down around me, I'm like watching my kingdom fall.
I know.
And like just seeing all the, the cave being taken down, all the like special little elixirs and vials that were in the lab and everything. And I had like a special story about every single one of them, and all the books that were on the shelves. I like had ideas about like why I had them there. All this very specific stuff that I had done for the whole entire time, and just watching them like toss them in a bin. I was like, oh my God.
But there's a cast photo, like a cast and crew photo of every season that shot at that production set base, whatever, in New Zealand on the wall. So like we could see everyone who came before us, and then when we came back for Beast Morphers, we saw ours on the wall. Like, it's like we joined it, and so it was like just cool. Like, yeah, but it was bittersweet. Like we were all really tired and missed home, like after 8 months, but at this, long days. I didn't drink coffee at the time. I don't even know how I survived filming. I drink it now. I do. I know. I still don't drink alcohol though, but just coffie. But nope. I know.
Give it
Stick
time.
to your guns.
I remember it was literally me and Claire. We were still, no, she had just turned 21. I was still 20. But New Zealand drinking age is 18.
It's like 18 or 16. I don't know.
So we were like, bet on weekends. We're like, okay, like we're gonna go to Ponsonby. And I remember one time we got home and Brendan just looked at us like,
I don't
Okay.
recall this.
of course you don't. You probably don't remember the look on your face.
I
And
don't.
we were just like, yeah, we know you don't drink, but
I don't.
it's 18 here, so.
Yoshi and I just played video games. He played League of Legends at the time, and I'd invite the stunt team over to play Super Smash Brothers on weekends. So that's what we did. Are we doing questions?
Oh yeah. So I just have one more question.
His
So-
question first, and then
Oh yeah. But okay, so when you all made your reprise on Beast Morphers, what was that like? Like, what was the process of that? Like, like, did they call you? What happened with that?
There was word on the street for a long time because it was already a reunion episode before that.
we almost came back for Ninja
almost-
Steel. Almost
yeah.
all of us. Like Chip talked to all of us at Morphicon before Ninja Steel was announced. And he's like, "Do you all want to come back?" We're like, "Yeah." And then like emails are like, "Okay, so we can only take," because they were going to do a reunion episode of Ninja Steel Dino Charge and then that anniversary run. So they're going to be two different ones. He's like, "We're not doing the Ninja Steel Dino Charge anymore, but we want you for the other one. Oh wait, now we can only take a couple of you. Oh wait, now we can only take one of you." So like it kept whittling us down. And we're like, "Just take Yoshi. His brother's in it."
Exactly.
Like, so-
It made sense. So we were really like built up for it already for a long time. And it was really amazing to just like put it all back together and like be together. And at that time too, it was like that felt like so much time had passed, and then we were like there again.
Yeah.
It was a strange deja vu and really awesome. And we couldn't stop laughing. It was like one of the most like giddy, joyful like experiences.
Remember all the sheep that came by in the
Oh
background?
yeah, the sheep sword.
Yeah.
We were shooting and then like a horde of sheep just like passed in our
Like,
on, like, the
Hundreds
shot.
just
Yeah.
run past the shot, so we had to hold for
Only
the
in New
sheep.
Zealand.
Yeah, I know. That's good.
Campbell, were you able to see them when they came back, or what
Sheep?
happened with that?
Well,
You got.
I saw them at the read through. I wasn't able to be on the set with them, but I did have like a strange experience because I brought back Snide as well. And I suppose I got to give some backstory for this first. So, and I'll probably get this story backwards. So when I went into record Snide, his first line, he's like, I guess what they use, a reanimizer or something to bring him back. Yeah. Well, his first line was, where am I? And so when I went in to record it, the ADR director said, like, do you want us to bring up like the old file, of your voice from like 5 years earlier? I said, no, I know it. And he was like, are you sure? I said, yeah, I know it. Let's just record. So I recorded my first two lines of Snide, and he caved. He was so panicked that I was not doing the right voice. So he said to the sound engineer, open the Dino Charge files and just randomly pick one of Snide's cues and play it back. Well, I'm not kidding you. The sound engineer opened up the moment where Snide was created on Sentai 6, and his first line was, where am I? And he played it back, and the guy said, no, I don't want you to play back what he just recorded. I want you to play back. And the engineer was like, that was from the show. And he's like, okay, you're right, that's the voice.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we're going to be taking fan questions now. So if you want to line up over here, we can go ahead and get that started.
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Jerome. Hi, you guys. Kind of nervous, but I just have two really quick questions. One of them, my favorite. I'm a teacher in Vancouver, and the kids and I will watch this show with their lunch break, which is why we got like super into it, and I think it's great. And our favorite episode is the one where Albert, like the older man, is the first Purple Ranger, and like it's so cute and so funny, and that's like the line where Ivan says like when they're like, "Hey, look, it's dolphins," and he's like, "What are dolphins?" And it's like so brilliant. So, do you remember filming with that older guy, Albert, and do you have any recollections of that? And then my other question, super quick, was just the really epic Zord cockpits that you guys had. And then if I remember correctly, I think there was a part where definitely Brennan, but where you guys got to actually go into that as civilians and stand in the cockpits. And do you remember that? And was that a cool moment, or any recollections on that?
Someone else want to answer the first one?
Going backwards, I remember the cockpit was like.
That's the second one.
I know we can go
Okay.
backwards. It's Power Rangers. Yeah, it was just like all imagination. I think like do they move the sets in Star Trek when they're like, whoa? It felt like a Star Trek set, and we were like, okay, this is all happening, and it was all like we were creating it, which I thought was like an interesting take, and it was different than every single episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
Like being in the cockpit in that way. So I thought that was really cool.
Was it? When was I in the cockpit in civilian? Oh, it was when my Energem was stolen, right, or something. Yeah. I did a handstand in there. Like, I don't know. There's a picture in my phone somewhere. So like I was happy. Like, oh hey. Heck yeah. Level up. What was the first question? Oh yeah. It was cool, but we knew she was waiting in the wings to be purple, so we're like, okay, he's cool, but like, come on, let's get to the main, attractions. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hey there, guys. So I remember when I was first watching your season, one of the things that became apparent to me as I watched more and more episodes is how during the team morphs, and I know starting with Samurai, they brought back its Morphin time for the first time in almost 20 years, is that I don't think they did this in Samurai or Megaforce, but they actually rotated who got to say it's Morphin time to the point where I believe every single one of you got to say it at least once. Given that it is kind of one of those, if not the most iconic line in Power Rangers, when your turn came around, what was that like for you?
Yeah, take it.
So I only got to say it one time, and New Zealand was really, really cold a lot of the time, and I get cold very easily. And when we filmed my episode where I got to say it, it was like 6 a.m. We were in a quarry with a lot of metal lying around, and I was freezing. And they had this really interesting lip color on me at the time, which like I already had blue lips because I was freezing, and it just made it look even worse. And I remember being like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I can't speak. I'm so cold, my lips won't move. So, so when I said it, I had to like over articulate as much as I possibly could because I couldn't feel my mouth. So the only one time that I said it, I was like, it's morning time. And it was like this super weird thing. And I've watched it back since, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? It's like, it's the weirdest thing, and I look furious because I'm just like focusing so hard. And yeah, it's the one time I got to say it, and I looked like an absolute idiot. So.
Davi said tis morphing time, right?
That's so true. Yeah, I got
He
to
fancified
put a
it.
spin on it, you know?
Shakespearean morphing time.
Exactly. It was highly satisfying. I think it's one of the best moments ever because like the show all comes down to that phrase, you know? Tis good. It was tis great.
Ditto.
Hi, nice to meet you all. Big fan, Brendan. Just my question is like, with your did any of you watch Sentai while working with Yoshi? Like, because in the actual season, Kyorija, a lot of the show is based around like bravery, dancing, and stuff. And I'm just wondering if you guys ever wanted to actually dance in the show, like if you guys wanted to incorporate that.
Yeah. Actually, my stunt double Akihiro Haga gave me the Kyoruger footage while we were filming. So I was watching it in the beginning weeks of us filming the first few episodes, and I took a lot of inspiration from Daigo King's performance. And Yoshi and I don't remember if we both did it or if he just did it, but either both or one of us did the dance in the background of an episode, like not part of the storyline. We just kind of snuck it in. But if anyone knows what episode that is, I don't want to watch all 44 to find it, but if you find it, let me know.
All right. Well, this is besides the question. Do you have a booth, Camille? I'm sorry, this is probably not the right place to ask. I just didn't, when I walked around, I didn't see if you had a booth or not.
I'm out there.
Okay.
She's near Davi.
She's next to me.
And to the right of
Yeah.
Claire, which is
She's
to
on
the
road
right of
from
me.
Dino Charge.
I probably just missed it. My question is to everyone, what was the most important thing you learned about yourself after the whole thing was done?
That's a good question.
Take it, Camille. Hey, you commented on it.
Okay. The most important thing that I learned about myself. I learned a lot that year. It was actually probably like the most transformative year for me because I feel like going from being in college, kind of like having that early like youth, still kind of feeling kind of like kid to like all of a sudden you're an adult, you're expected to do adult things. There's no mom there to like so you're in a new country with like new people on the other side of the planet, working your butt off like all day every day. It taught me how weak I was and how strong I was at the same time. One, because to accomplish anything in life worth doing, it takes a lot of work, and also, if it's not difficult, it's probably not your dream. So it taught me that doing storytelling as a job is my dream because I didn't quit when it got hard. I was motivated to get better at it. I was motivated to feel comfortable in that space. And I think going through something that requires a certain level of resilience and where you can still find joy in it will teach you if it's for you or not. Because if it's not for you, you're probably going to leave that experience and never do it again.
Well said.
I mean, it was such a great autonomy, piggybacking off of the fact that we were there for so long. So I've always loved to like travel. And like filming in New Zealand was like really cool because it's such a different world in spite of having like the English overlap. But it was one of the first times I ever felt homesick in my entire life to this day. But at the same time, because it kind of pushed across that barrier of like discomfort, I also found such an incredible like community. And I was the only ranger that actually extended my time there. After we wrapped, just like do a whole like road trip with Ryan, who played Heckle to the Snide, and yeah, and so it was kind of like even though you're like uncomfortable in a certain amount, like you learn to get comfortable, which allows you to grow. Because afterwards it was like, oh yeah, I could do that and I could do so much more, and it only fueled like the desire to like see the world and do that kind of committed show.
And we were all figuring it out together too. Like, even on the production side, if there were things that weren't making sense or that we questioned, we would like approach production together versus like, okay, I'll be the bad guy this time to go look bad. Like we would go in teams and be like, hey, so we were just wondering about XYZ, or, we'd get it resolved or as best we could. And yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Protein bars. Yeah. Yeah. And we'll leave it at that for protein bars. No, Claire, go.
Protein bars.
I just meant the protein.
We don't have to talk about that now.
I mean, I also learned a whole lot about. It might sound kind of silly, but since we say the word teamwork so often on the show, but together, just
Dad?
truly how much goes into. I mean, producing anything, but particularly a show with this large scale. We got to know our crew really well. I had a lot of fun, like going onto the camera truck and like jamming with them. They had some instruments for lunchtime, and I would like play the keys and also play guitar. Like we got to know the costume department really well, and we hung out with our costumer, and just I learned a lot about how in order to create a good working relationship with somebody, it's also very important to create a personal relationship with them, and you can set your own boundaries in that sense, and you can figure out to what extent that's going to be. But at the end of the day, it's important to know everyone that you're working with and to work really hard at understanding each person individually and how they work. And you end up, learning a lot about those people and also learning a lot about yourself in the process. And it was really special. I mean, we had a massive, massive crew who did a lot of really cool different things. But, at the end of the day, we walked away with not only a wonderful cast, but wonderful relationships with the crew and the stunt team. And, yeah, it was really special.
Hi. I
Hey.
just have a quick question. What was the hardest thing or stunt you've done in the whole entire show?
Hardest stunt in the show?
I know. There was one time I was actually a little scared. Okay, so the fight with Fury in like the woods before getting sucked into his like chest cavity for 800 years.
You were in your armor in that.
I was in
right?
my armor, so like I
Yeah.
had even more like backup. But they were like, okay, so you're gonna get like sucked through the forest, and you're gonna be pulled through the forest floor, which was a real forest, and then you're gonna get like kind of uplifted and thrown like against like him, and then we'll call cut while you're in the air. And I'm like, wait, I'm doing this? And they're like, yeah, you're just gonna lay down on this
You don't
platform.
need a stunt double, right? It's
I was
fine.
like, wait, what about this? Okay, go on. And they're like, all right, you're gonna lay down on this little platform, and then we're gonna just tug you really fast, and then it's going to like lift up, and you're gonna like be projected up. And I really thought like, okay, this is that moment in your life when you're supposed to say no, but you do it anyway. I was like, okay, fine. And honestly, it was such a letdown actually, because it was like, oh, this is so smooth, and like, oh, and cut. It was like, all right, I was just like freaking out, but it ended up looking okay. But I was scared. But it wasn't Quentin Tarantino. It was fine.
That's fair.
It wasn't Uma Thurman.
For me, it was the Royal Ranger episode when I first walk into the base as the prince. They actually cut it from the episode, but I walked in and like did a backflip. And I was like, guys, it's me, remember? Yeah. But I hurt my ankle because Yoshi dropped me at an open gym. We were doing acrobatics because Chip was like, I want you guys to like come up with some kind of trick together. And so me being dumb was like, oh, Yoshi, you're strong. You could learn this on the first try. So I told him to hold me in a handstand. And he started running, like he didn't know how to lower me down, so my ankle popped when I hit the floor. And he started going like, oh no, I broke the Red Ranger, like he was yelling that in the gym. But yeah, my ankle wasn't healed, so like doing the backflips on it hurt so bad. And I guess it wasn't a good enough backflip because I probably looked like it hurt, so they cut it. So it's just me entering the base. I was like, I did those backflips for nothing. But yeah. Good question.
This is why I'm a voice actor. I don't want
wanna
to
answer?
be injured.
All right, first of all, I want to say thanks for coming. We all appreciate it.
Thank
Now-
you guys.
Now, my question is I know in New Zealand that like the seasons could be backwards. Like if it's summer here, it's the winter over there. Was that tough for you guys to deal with it, like going there and the opposite and coming back? Or how was that for you guys?
I mean, it wasn't necessarily difficult so much as it was kind of jarring, but it was fine. I think the hardest experience for me personally was we showed up. We flew out of LA at the end of August. Remember this?
Yeah, it was.
We landed, we're like, what is this?
We were like, it was free. Like it was raining and cold.
I thought New Zealand was an island.
Exactly. We were like, what is happening? And I remember one of the first episodes we did, we were on a beach and I was only in it briefly, but I was supposed to like run out of it or run towards Yoshi running out of a cave. And
This is the caveman episode?
Yes,
Yeah, where you save the boy?
Yes, and I take the boy out of Yoshi's arms, and I have very sensitive eyes. And the changes of the seasons so abruptly are very difficult on my eyes. And when I say that I couldn't see anything as I was taking this boy from Yoshi because my eyes were swollen, and I also had glasses, which I don't usually wear. So that was, for me personally, being on a beach with like salt water and sand and my eyes swollen shut just because it was like, surprise, it's now winter instead of summer. That was pretty hard. Yeah.
I just had crazy allergies in New Zealand. I was sneezing like every episode for the first season. And so that was just hard. It always looked like I was teary-eyed, and I wasn't trying to be emotional. I just was
always cold.
yeah, and allergic to things.
Very, very cold.
How did it feel coming back when it came back? Like,
My allergies followed me back. Like they got worse when I came back to the States. Like I sneezed like 12 times, and like it finally leveled out after like going back again for season 2 and back. But like my body just took a minute to adjust.
okay. Just a quick thing is that I've always wanted to ask somebody that's been to New Zealand that question. Thanks for asking the question.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Okay. Next person. Again, we all appreciate you guys.
Likewise.
Hi guys, I'm Anthony. Nice to meet you all. I have 2 very quick questions. The first one is, did you audition for the roles that you got? Like the Rangers you got? Like you auditioned for pink and you got pink, purple, you got purple. You knew, okay, great, easy. Next question, what Power Ranger merchandise do you own? Do you own a lot of it, a little bit, none of it?
Definitely my toy. I'm so happy about my toy. That was like, being a big action figure guy since I was little.
I think I have Dobby's toy too.
You have my toy too?
I'm pretty sure I have your lightning figure.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
And James.
Yeah. And James?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. We should have like a toy date.
We should.
Yeah.
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 It's a date.
It's a date.
A toy date.
Yes. Dad?
Dad?
And the jacket. I have my jacket at home. Very happy with that. I was so excited to audition for Red because that was like my little dream.
I'm
I
sorry.
was like, I'm gonna get to play Red Ranger, baby. But then but but then like Gold, and then like Sir Ivan, like that kept coming up, and then by the end of it, it was like just Sir Ivan, and it was just one of those things that felt so like in place. So yeah, I remember like Chip was like, all right, so we just want you to stay in the room, and we'll just have all these different people come in, and it felt like pretty awesome at that point.
I literally brought to the chemistry read a rainbow of shirts because we didn't know what colors we were auditioning for, or I didn't. But after the fact, I know I auditioned for black, and I think I auditioned for green as well, and then red. But just those three. And yeah, I got a lot of Power Ranger merch from our season. I have the Sideshow collectible Green Ranger where they made like only so many of them where he's standing on his dragon coin. Yep. I got that in my room. So yeah, well, not my room. It's in the office, but it's a room.
I think it's a little different for the girls because we have fewer options. So it was kind of like pink or purple. Which one are you? So,
Which is very
yeah.
sad.
Yeah. So I pretty much knew. Like they said, I only auditioned twice. So I went to the first audition in like a pink shirt because they were like, wear pink or purple. And I borrowed a shirt from somebody. And then for the callback, they were like, yeah, it's purple. But don't tell anybody.
Oh, just pink. I think they're just like wear pink.
Well, pink suits you.
All right. Hello again, Brendan. So my question is, knowing how the show ended, where do you think the team would be 6 years now after the show?
Kendall has like 5 degrees.
True. She opened up a museum franchise, one in every state.
Right. I think we left off with like there was a zoo and Triceratops came back.
True.
So I'm guessing Shelby is like a zoologist there.
Sir Ivan is making descendants in Xandar.
Tyler borrowed the Energems and time traveled back in time and recruited himself a bunch of times. I mean, an army of Tylers to protect the universe, and found his dad every time.
Snide is waiting to be reanimized.
Okay. Thank you. Also, thanks again for doing that picture.
Yeah.
Hello. So I wanted to ask, looking back on your work on the show, is there anything you wish you could have done differently or been allowed to do differently?
My hair.
Our first scene together. Your hair?
Yes. Yeah.
It was when we first met, like in the woods, and then I'm driving her in the Jeep because she didn't have a ride, and I wanted to do the scene differently, like energy-wise, and because like she's asking like, "Oh, is this your dad?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, he went missing for 10 years or whatever." I'm like all upbeat about it, like, "Oh yeah, my dad's gone." And I was
He's
talking.
guilty.
I was annoyed. I was like to the director. I was like, "Can I please do this like a little more like forlorn because I'm literally recounting like my missing dad to this person I just met." And he's like, no, Power Rangers is all about always happy and upbeat. I was like, always? Like, and literally, because he wouldn't let me do it my way. Like, now I know better. I just would have done it anyway and be like, well, too bad. Edit out of that. But at the time, I was like, okay. And then Chip showed it, to Saban, and Haim Saban Chip's words to me were like, he loved the first episode, thought it was great. The only part he didn't like was your thing with Shelby and the first thing in the Jeep because you weren't like serious enough. And I was like, I know! And yeah, so that just bothered me. But like, yeah, that was all.
I think I just would have had more fun, honestly. I'm a very intense person, and I was very serious on set all the time, which I think a degree of that is very important, and I took my job very seriously. I always take my job very seriously, but I stressed myself out too much, and I wish that I had just kind of like taken it easy and enjoyed the ride a little more and understood that what I was doing was so cool, and I was, not going to be able to come back and relive it. So I would just wish that I had, looked around, been a little more lighter, I guess, and just enjoyed myself more. Yeah.
I wouldn't change a thing. Yeah, I feel like it would be. We had so many ideas sometimes about story, So if the so-called change would just be like if we just pitched our ideas more to see if we could have done a few things, added a few things like from us to the writers. I think that would have been nice.
Yoshi and I fought like every few episodes for a shirtless fight scene. We kept going to Chip and we're like, can we have a shirtless fight scene in the rain?
Every time.
And he's like, no. We're like, next episode? He's like, no. And then we're like at the finale, we're like, so it's in this script? He's like, no. It's like, come on.
I didn't have the option of changing anything. It's like they gave me the script that that's what you're recording.
Hey, so how does it feel looking back, being one of the last seasons that was made by Saban? Because in 2018, it was bought out by Hasbro.
I mean, it was really special. I think you guys responded so positively with Dino Charge. And even though it was one of the last of Saban, it was also a return of Chip and sort of his aesthetic of Power Rangers. So there was something really special about that moment, I think, for all of us and the series. So it felt like good timing, I suppose, because we got like a good stick out of the draw.
Agree. Good question.
Hi guys.
Hi.
So Claire, what do you think that instead of just being Miss Morgan, you should have been Dr. Morgan instead?
Agree. I could not agree more with that. I think that it's criminal that she was not called Dr. Morgan instead of Miss Morgan. It made me feel infantilized when in reality I Miss Morgan is a very smart lady and I'm sure she has a doctorate. I'm sure that she has all kinds of degrees and I thought that it was criminal that she was Miss Morgan instead of Dr. Morgan. Thank you for that question.
Yeah,
We're sure if there's another sequel, she's Dr. Morgan now.
Like a plot line could have been that she was in the middle of working on it and like at the very end she finally gets her degree, right?
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you. I should be a little less angry.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you again, Brennan. So my question is for Davi. Since
Yes.
in Kyoryuger, your character was a samurai, and then it was switched over in your season to be a knight. Would you have wanted to be a samurai, or would you have wanted to be something else instead of a knight?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, a samurai is the knights in Asia, you know? So I feel like that would have been in Japan. So I think that would have been like a really cool, a cool alternative. But I just wonder, like Sir Ivan, like playing up the accent and stuff was like easy. And I think like everyone could like believe it. I don't know what I would have had it done if he was like a samurai. You know what I mean? But I guess it's Power Rangers, so you could stretch the universes to encompass anywhere. Like, why not have a Zendarian samurai? You know? But yeah, that would have been awesome. You would have found me in a museum looking at samurai stuff to prepare.
I think Davi or Sir Ivan should be in Dino Fury though, because he's like the original Dino Knight. You know what I mean? Like
Dynamite. Did you just say that?
I said knight.
Oh, yeah.
Right, whatever. Whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I think he should be. Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Me again.
Hello again.
You know, I might as well ask all four of the Rangers that are here right now. If you could team up with any superhero, your season, who would it be? Marvel or DC? Who you got?
I like Spider-Man. It'd be cool to work with him.
Okay.
Or Nightwing. Bring that circus.
Okay.
I like Chris Evans.
Which one?
Whoever he's playing.
Captain America.
Captain. You know you can get him as Fantastic Four if you wanted to, by the way. Bring them both. Davi, who you got?
I think Zoe Kravitz did an amazing, Catwoman, you know? Bring her on.
Who? And Claire, who you got? Just give us somebody. Any superhero you want. Your season could team up with.
Say your mother. She's a superhero.
My mom.
Hey. My mom's my. Hey. All right. I'll go with that.
I could see Snide hanging out with Dr. Octopus.
You know what?
Yeah.
Was he a bad guy? Yeah. He was a bad guy? You could choose a bad guy to team up with. Who you got? You could choose a supervillain. Any supervillain.
I would say Dr. Octopus. Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
All right. How do I word this? So we watch a lot of, I know I did. I watch a lot of kids show. You know, I grew up watching a lot of Blue's Clues. Was there anything you picked up from any show that you watched to be like, hey, well, I'm doing a kid show. I should probably pick up a thing or two. I know I like watching Steve Burns do his thing, and I feel like if I was to do a kid show, I'd probably, take notes from him.
Yeah, for Tyler, I actually like had a journal where I wrote who I wanted to like influence or like similar tone. Clark Kent from Smallville, Wes from Time Force, and then Daigo from Kyoryuger. Those are the three that I kind of like drew inspiration from to create Tyler.
I watched a lot of Disney Channel, so I feel like a lot of like Raven Simone's facial expressions, and like a little bit of like Lizzie McGuire.
I watched a lot of Nickelodeon growing up, like a lot of Nickelodeon, and yeah, and like I think WB had like a kids. What was it? It was like a WB Kids. Was that kids? Yeah, Kids WB. Yeah. So I think it was like all on the back of my mind. I was also a huge James Bond fan, so I think like that's kind of trickled into like the Englishness of Sir Ivan. That's potentially where that came from.
Of course.
Hey guys. So Dino Charge really was pretty big for me because it was the season that I got back into Power Rangers. I got out when I was like 7. I kind of wasn't into it as much anymore, and then I got back in with Dino Charge, and I mean, I just thought it was great. I mean, there was even I would go to school and there was this one other kid who liked Power Rangers, and we would talk about like, no, did you see the last episode? I really feel like this season in particular, out of all of the ones in your particular era, was probably one of the best, if not the best. And I don't. It was a lot of factors about it, but so what do you think? Some of the factors that made your seasons as strong as it was? Because I really feel like you had something particularly good.
We had a united front. We kind of all agreed before we started filming that we wanted to make it like the best season that we could. Just knowing the fandom, like being part of it, and then also knowing how many people it influenced. So it's like, what can we do in our control? Like we can't obviously like write the stories, but we can give input and whatever. And it's like, so we went to Chip collectively, and he actually wrote it in one of his like a little excerpt in one of the Power Ranger books. Like he thought we were going to come in and complain about something, and then we all said we wanted to do it as well as we could. And I think that inspired him to maybe push a little harder with the writing to make it. So like him knowing we were all on board, I think made everyone just work harder, and we all had fun with it.
I think our show was also, instead of a lot of standalone little episodes, try to carry like a story that moved forward and developed, which I think made it a lot more interesting, both for us and for you guys, because we were like, we felt so much more like storytellers, not just like one-off.
4 energems to go versus 40 more monsters.
Yeah, exactly.
As someone on the outside looking in, because I didn't get to act with them, I just loved the chemistry amongst them all. I think the chemistry really just sold it. So.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff, guys. Thank you.
Don't be shy.
So, if anyone had a crossover with any cartoon character, who would it be?
Sorry, what?
Who would it be if it had a crossover with a cartoon? Cartoon crossover. No, a crossover.
Oh, crossover.
Who would it be?
Crossover with the cartoon.
Oh, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but like a Power Rangers kind of deal?
Yeah.
Or like Dick Tracy. South Park? Oh my god.
Is there Power Rangers in South Park? No. I'm sure they made an episode of South Park.
The cartoon? Oh man. I mean, I feel like, anything with Bugs Bunny in it would be like kind of amazing. It would just be weird. It'd be so weird. Do you know how many people ask if like, oh, you're a Power Ranger, so like it's all voices, right? Like they actually think it is a cartoon, and that always like baffles me. Yeah. It's like, when did you ever anyway? I'll go down that hole. Yeah, exactly. Like every superhero. Yeah.
Can we work with like anime, like team up with Naruto or something? That'd be cool. Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z.
I feel like we wouldn't do well in the Dragon Ball universe. We're not quite at that power level of blowing things up. And what? In Naruto, yeah, we would do well in Naruto. They got giant toads, we got Megazords. It's fine. What? I don't think it's worth us even trying. To be honest. Yeah.
All right, one last question.
Last question.
What was your favorite line that you said?
I mean, yeah, go.
I had to say a lot of stuff that made absolutely no sense because it was just made up jargon and like scientific, like a bunch of things that don't actually exist. And the one that I will always remember is I've calibrated the Dino energies to synchronize, which means nothing. But I had to try so hard to make it make sense, and it was very serious, So that was my favorite for sure.
I mean, other than it's morphin time, like Unleash the Power and It's About to Get Wild are probably tied for me. It's about to get wild! Come on.
Yogurt. Yeah, I had a.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I had a line that unfortunately didn't make it to the show, but it was my personal favorite, among the best moments on the show.
Yes.
Do you guys remember how it went? Like I could. Yeah, it was.
But he forgot the rest, so he just
Let him tell the story.
Yeah, it was like the was it the friendship? Not friendship. It was like the summer, yeah, the everlasting summer. And we all had to be like
The
really
sun ray
tipsy.
monster.
Yes, exactly.
Coda stayed in the shade and we didn't.
And we were all really, really tipsy and like all happy in the summer. And it was like I crave. The line is I crave the creamy taste of frozen yogurt, but I couldn't remember like yogurt. But I wanted to save the take, so I was like I crave the creamy taste.
No, say it right.
All right, go do
He
it.
forgot what the line was, and so he just rolled his R for like a minute straight instead. He goes, I crave the creamy taste of frozen yogurt.
He had to be there. We all just started dying. But...
It was over.
It was hilarious.
All right, well. All right, well, thank you guys for coming, and thank you guys for being here at Morphicon 2022.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Come visit our booth. We'll be here all day.
Yeah, and
tomorrow.
Tomorrow's National Power Rangers Day, right?
Is it really?
Yeah.
We'll celebrate.
So come by on National Power Rangers Day if you're here still. Thanks, guys.